Welcome back, everybody. Today I want to tell you a story. This story is about the world you and me are in, the world of Albion. I will tell you this story because I think you will have a whole other perspective on the world of Albion after listening. You will play this game as never before. So sit back, relax and enjoy the lore of Albion Online. 2000 years ago, Albion is a wild place where humans struggle to survive. They live in simple tribes, scavenging and living while trying to avoid bigger predators, the dire beasts, giants, and worst of all, the destructive and tyrannical dragons. 1800 years ago, the first humans begin to attune themselves to the magic of Albion, becoming druids. They make an accord with the giants of Albion, enabling the various tribes of humanity to flourish. The greatest of the giants come together with the first druids to work a great magic, forcing the dragons to sleep. The ravaged lands soon recovers. The humans and giants guarding the dragons' resting places, naming themselves Albion's keepers. 1600 years ago, a druid rises who is unlike the others. Some say he has gained secret knowledge by eavesdropping on a dragon's dreams. Others that he has talked to other creatures deep in the bowel of the earth. His name is Merlin, and he has a dream of uniting the tribes. His message is simple. One day the dragons will wake, and on that day they must be ready. Never again can Albion be allowed to fall in the dragon's power. 1500 years ago. Though the druids do not approve of Merlin, they do not oppose him either, and he is able to start uniting the tribes under one leader. He approaches the witch Morgana for help, and she crafts the mighty Excalibur, a weapon so powerful that I will make whoever wields it Albion's king. It is the first time that metal is mined and forged in Albion. Excalibur is the first sword, a combination of steel and magic. Unknown to Merlin, the secrets is making are giving the Morgana by demons who whisper her across the void. Together, Merlin and Morgana begin to recruit from the lesser tribes, gifting them metal armor and powerful magic weapons. The first knights are created. The greatest of them is given Excalibur and named king. They quickly establish themselves as a new power in Albion, ruling from the castle of Camelot. 1300 years ago. For many years the kings of Albion rule wisely and well. Merlin and Morgana guide them, establishing code of honor and chivalry. It is good time. And then disaster strikes. A great red dragon daughter rises from its slumber. Roar for those nearby to join it. King Uther leads the knights of Camelot to battle, supported by Merlin and Morgana. There is an epic battle that turns the sky black for 3 days. When the sunlight finally finds its way into Albion again, it shines on a victorious Camelot. The daughter and the lesser draglins it summoned have been slain, and the remaining dragons continue to sleep undisturbed. Albion is safe once more, but there has been a cost. In order to deliver the killing blow, Uther has sacrificed himself, leaving no recognized heirs. This leaves the survivors in a strange position. The immediate threat is going, and they have no natural leader. Merlin searched the land for illegitimate offspring, while Morgana suggested her own son as an alternative. Unfortunately, they cannot agree on a suitable candidate, and Merlin steals the Excalibur, giving it to Arthur and declaring him ruler of Albion. Furious at being betrayed, Morgana and her followers rises up in opposition, and the humans of Albion have their first and worst civil war. 1280 years ago, sensing that the battle is too evenly matched, Merlin goes to the keepers of Albion and shows them the devastation the war is bringing to the land. Hiding his own hand in things, he convinces them that Morgana is the biggest threat into the land of Albion has faced since the dragons, and convinces them to aid his cause. Morgana's force are immediately forced to retreat, and, too proudly to accept defeat, she uses dark magic and call for aid. She is answered by the demons who offer their help in exchange for entry into the world. Morgana accepts, tearing open a gateway to hell. With her new demonic allies, she is more than a match for Merlin. 1260 years ago, after years of war, Merlin releases that neither side can easily win, and that as the demons spill out into the world, Albion itself is likely to be destroyed. While Arthur leads his knights towards the final battle, Merlin convinces his apprentice to perform a powerful ritual that will sacrifice the knights and restore peace. He doesn't tell them it will also result in their deaths. As the battle releases its more frantic, the ritual begins, and Merlin takes Excalibur and shatters it. This resulting explosion kills most of the knights on both sides, and casts the demons back across the void. They drag and screaming Morganas with them as they go. Merlin himself vanishes. The oldest of the giants return to the earth, and all of Albion is shrouded in mist, sealing it off from the rest of the world. Most of the continent starts to recover, except for the place where the ritual magic was most powerful. But Morgana had only one trick to play. As she releases her doom was imminent. She ordered one of her higher priests to flee, taking with her a trove of secret knowledge and her newborn, in the hopes that they would one day return to Albion and find a way to bring her back. 200 years ago. For over a millennium, things have been peaceful in Albion. The demons and the war are only remembered in campfire stories. The few survivors of Morgana's cult hide in the shadows, biding their time. Meanwhile, the baby that crossed the waters has become a conqueror and founder of line of kings and queens. The ancient secret that took them are locked in an old library and forgotten about. 15 years ago, the magical mist surrounding Albion begins to fade, allowing a group of explorers to discover it. They report to their king across the sea. The king knows nothing of his ancient history of Albions, but he recognizes a new land, rich in resources that his war-torn nation sorely needs. As the mist weaken, they reveal parts of Albion, still scarred by the old war. Skeletons in ancient armor rises once more and wander the land. Most of them are mindless, tragic things, still trying to find the war that ended long ago. Where the knights have been reduced to walk corpses, Merlin's apprentices were transformed into harvesters, bitter shades that hunger constantly for fresh souls. At this time, Morgana's cults begin to stir, looking for a chance to restore their lost glory. 12 years ago, the king sends an expedition to Albion. It's mainly made up of criminals and those the king does not like. They begin to set up rudimentary settlements. 8 years ago, Albion is not kind to the newcomers. Many die, killed by foxes and wolves, by angry tribesmen and hungry giants. The survivors soon fall to infighting. Some are recruited by the disciplines of Morgana. They scrape together simple versions of magic and crafting used by the other factions, but the poorly channeled magics slowly driven them mad. The leader of the colony wanders off one night, claiming to have heard voices, and returns a changed man, proclaiming himself to be a heretic. Shortly afterwards, contact is lost with the new colonies. 5 years ago, the king sends a large contingent of royal expeditionary forces to secure a foothold in Albion. They take a significant chunk of the coastline and erect a great wall to artificially create a safe space within Albion. In truth, this space is not actually safe, but the royal forces do their best to patrol and it impose the king's law where they can. 1 year ago, the colony are deemed safe enough for civilians. The king allows people to petition for a charter to go to Albion and make their fortune. And there we are, standing in a world once overruled by dire beasts and simple tribes. Thank you so much for listening. Go and wander around in the beautiful world of Albion.